groundwater is probably my expectation, a more reliable source of clean water.
With an increase in droughts and developments, what does West Newbury need to do to maintain our water supply?
I don't know if most people know this. The water department is a separate enterprise fund in town, and it has 3 water commissioners who oversee it, and then they take care of the employees within the water department. So the select board does not interact intimately with the water department. It's like a separate business within town.
When you build too fast, it puts a strain on the infrastructure. And infrastructure is number one, right? So how do we live? We need water, right? Is water, becoming an issue? Yes. Okay. And then we got to slow down the build a little bit. All right. We got to figure out how we can maintain how we're living as a community, and be able to, if we want to expand, be able to obtain more water or use water more efficiently, in different ways and stuff.
Our water needs, historically, we were just looking at some charts a couple of weeks ago, have dropped drastically. What has happened is people have learned to conserve water.
We have to look at alternate, see what other communities are doing. All right. 'Cause I'm sure we're not the only community that has a water issue, right? I'm sure that's all around the state. But what are they doing? And is it working for them? And if it isn't working for them, maybe we invest some time and we talk to some people who are professionals in this aspect, right? They know a little bit better than, you and I, right? Who can handle the situation and see what they do. I'm sure there's a solution for everything.
The select board over the past 3 years, we've gone to town meeting and requested $50,000 in each of the cycles. And what we have used that money for is the first time we did we hired an engineering firm to look at all the parcels in town which we would be allowed to drill for more water on. And then we started drilling on these parcels. We've attacked the first 2 and not had the best results that we would like. So we're still looking at a 3rd parcel.
Yeah, it's the storing and storing of water and the infrastructure. I think is definitely something that we have to look into. I know a lot of towns will use, water towers is one solution to do it. You store it up when the water is abundant, like, springtime when the snow is melting and all that stuff. And you're able to tap into it, in summertime when there's a high demand for water,
We have a well field down next to the reservoir in Newburyport that we pump water out of. And then we buy excess water from Newburyport when we need it. So the responsibility for maintaining that part of the water quality is on Newburyport.
If they can put giant communities in the middle of the desert with no water supply, right? A town that literally is on the water, could figure out a way to, grab the water or some source and figure out what we're going to do with it, Overall, if water is essential for life, and it's also essential for public safety too, when it comes down to hydrants and other avenues like that, maintaining water pressure and maintaining a sufficient amount of water in case there's ever an emergency is, on the top of, probably everyone's list in this town for, water, right? And they think about it.